Day number 2.
Airports Cost Recovery for Processing of International Travellers Bill interrupted debate on first reading.
When we were last debating this bill, the Honourable Damien O'Connor was speaking and has 6 minutes, 30 seconds remaining to speak if he wishes.
Mr Speaker.
The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr Speaker, this Airport Cost Recovery for Processing of International Travellers Bill is a double bill, because last night, as we introduced it, we also introduced the Customs Amendment Bill. And, sir, I'm disappointed that Damien O'Connor's not going to take his 6.5 minutes and speak on it, because last night, sir, Damien O'Connor got up and got so many things wrong in the first part of the bill, as did CO William CO, that I just want to correct about 2 of them. I could spend the rest of the speech on it. They first of all said the government had increased the import transaction fee. Not true. Not true. It's been $24.75. It's staying $24.75. They then said it was going to apply to passengers when they came in from travelling overseas. Damien O'Connor actually said he was nervous about coming back through customs anymore because he might now get socked for it. No, he's not. No, the import transaction fee will not apply to any passengers coming through. Doesn't apply no matter whether you're even over the $700 limit. So the sort of misinformation we got from Labor members last night, from both CO Williams CO, that we'd increased it. Oh, the other was a cracker, that the government had increased it to pay for the joint border management system that was coming. Well, actually not true. It's actually a straight cost recovery for the transaction fee alone, and that's where the expansion to cover a few items were. Now to this bill, sir. This bill will allow cost recovery of passenger clearance services at new and restart international airports. Let's get that clear. A new international airport, so let's think of a place that hasn't got one at present. Taihape. If Taihape wanted to... Timaru, OK, all right. I think our member from Timaru's got a very good case for having an international airport. I'm not sure it'll happen soon, but one day. Timaru wants to get an international airport, sir. What we're saying in this bill, it is just too easy to put up the case and have somebody else pay. So what we're saying is that for things like the customs service, things like the MAF service and things like the aviation security service, if you are a new international airport, this bill will allow the government to set a time frame. It's up to 3 years, although the government has signalled in this legislation it's up to 3 years. We've signalled we'll only go up to 2 years, for which the actual airport has to charge the airlines and the users for the cost of the provision of that service. It's a sensible thing after that's settled down and it's proved to have some longevity. It's not going to be a run for 3 months and then shut down. Then that's the case. And in the case of restarts, this legislation does something again differently. It gives a period of grace of 6 months, up to. It will be put into regulation, but the legislation says up to 6 months. So now you've got an airport operating as an international airport and it decides that it's no longer going to carry on. So it shuts its international services. And, sir, we've had this in the past, and I can tell you that my customs service has faced a huge amount of cost to pay out redundancies, to close down the operation, to move plant and equipment and resettle the whole operation because that airport, which was operating, no longer is international. So what we're saying is if you're going to close, there will be a grace period of up to 6 months that'll be described in regulation, and during that time the airport might try and go out and find another international operator. And if they can find one in that time frame, good stuff, they get them and they carry on with the regime being funded for them. But, sir, if it takes 18 months before they decide to start again, or if on a whim somebody says, oh, I'll have a crack at flying some, there is no way you can expect the government to pour a fortune of money into the system to get it all back up and running with aviation security, with MAF inspections, with customs inspections, only to find that it might last 3 months and then close again with all of the associated costs. So, sir, this bill is a component of the overall funding arrangements for passenger clearance services and is actually agreed by the government and the aviation, by the Labor government and the aviation sector back in 2005. That's when the agreement for this stuff came in, and I think they got it right. I give them praise for that. And, sir, what we're now saying... I'll say it again, I give the Labor government praise for getting this agreement through, and this legislation will now confirm it. And I think it's a good step in the right direction. It's simply, again, I just want to repeat it so everyone is clear. If any city in New Zealand wants to start a new international air service into that town, as Timaru may want to, then that airport will have to find the funding through its passenger charges and so on for at least 2 years, maybe a year, but no more than 3, because the maximum can be defined in the regulations as 3 years. The government has, as you'll see in the cover note to the bill, indicated that we're going to start at 2. And then if we take another airport that is currently running, and I wouldn't try to give an example in this case, because if I picked one, there would be kerfuffle running around, it's been said, the Minister in the House said that airport's closing. So let's just take Airport X, that's operating out there as an international airport, decides that it no longer, and the airline says we're pulling out, we're not going to carry on flying into this, it's not economically viable, then a period of grace of up to 6 months will lie for that airport company to go and find a new operator, to get them in and get them operating, and we will give them that period of grace with the no extra charge. But if they don't, then the clock stops and they will then be treated as a new airport just as they were. Sir, this is a very good bill heading in the right direction about putting some real responsibility on people how they behave and where costs fall best where they lie. I commend the bill to this House.
I call Carol by